Hi everybody, so it's a little bit late on a Monday evening. It's quite dark here in my office, but I just wanted to record a few words. So we're in dark moon at the moment, and tomorrow we will see a new moon at 28 degrees of Libra. And Libra is the sign of balance, the sign of the scale. So this is a new moon that we're going into, which is very much about balance. You know, what tweaks and adjustments do we need to make in our life to bring everything into a state of balance? You know, is it that you want a new beginning? What do you need to do to balance in order to get to the end of the calendar year? What intentions will you be setting to really shape your autumn months and also going into the winter months? But just remembering that balance is very much an ongoing dance. So just because we've balanced something once doesn't mean that we can't go back and we can't constantly review it, just to make these gentle little tweaks that are needed essentially. But what is really interesting about this new moon is that it's coming as we're going into the Mercury retrograde shadow. So we go into the Mercury retrograde shadow on the 21st, same day as the new moon, and we're already beginning to see our communication just having a little bit of interference. If you've been following what's been going on with Amazon today and the fact that a lot of sites went down. What I'm going to say about this Mercury retrograde is that it starts in Sagittarius and goes in back into Scorpio before going forward again. So it's crossing over the threshold of these two signs. These two signs are very, very dear to my heart. Most of my planets and placements are in Scorpio and Sag. But what I am going to say, and speaking from personal experience as a Sag moon and Sag rising, is that anybody with Sagittarius energy or going into this Mercury retrograde with Sagittarius energy is we can be blunt. We can be absolutely tactless at time. We often tell the truth and we have very dogmatic beliefs, can be quite fundamentalist sometimes, very, very strict. Sagittarius are always right, and they will deliver words with not just tactless but with utter brutal honesty. It feels a little bit abrasive at times. I remember a boss telling me that I was very abrasive in my communication, but it stands me in good stead. But Sagittarius like the truth, like to learn more about the truth, but then we're going to go back into Scorpio. And then Scorpio likes to dig, likes to really ferret around in the undergrowth, go into the dark aspects to really find out what the truth. Sagittarius very rigid in its truth, Scorpio wanting to know a little bit more. So what I'm really feeling intuitively is this is a Mercury retrograde where we really just need to be a little bit more relaxed about what truth is and not be so dogmatic, so rigid about truth, because I feel that our truth may be changing. We may have a lot of excavation of and revelation of hidden truths as well. So maybe just taking a little bit of truth inventory before we start this Mercury retrograde. So the Mercury retrograde is the 9th of November to the 29th of November. So I'm recording this quite early, but it feels really important to start mentioning it now because we're going to have a bit of a truth inventory. And when you take your truth inventory, just notice that, you know, how rigid are you in these truths? How much are you able to move, be a little bit more flexible? And actually in this Mercury retrograde, will you be able to keep your peace? Or will you be kind of throwing the truth bombs in left, right, and centre? It really feels like it's one of those, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said it, Mercury retrogrades, but the energy as such with everything going on in the world, can you keep your internal peace? Can you be prepared to shift and change your truth? But also remembering that the truths that are being revealed might not be all the truth, and we may be given false information coming across as the truth as well. And I'm really seeing this because what will happen as well on, I'm just getting my dates right, the 22nd of October, which is Wednesday this week, Neptune moves back into Pisces. Now Neptune is beautiful, she's soft, she's oracular, she kind of floats around the cosmos. I'm beginning to become quite fond of her, and she's really coming back into Pisces, but she is very much about the dream world. She's about illusion and delusion. So maybe, as well as taking a truth inventory, you might want to take an inventory of where you feel you might have been under an illusion, where you think maybe you've had deluded thinking, maybe you're questioning your own thinking as well. And she's really kind of coming back in, and I'm feeling this very much on the ascension pathway, very much in the spiritual world in which we all inhabit, not just the small microcosm of New Earth spirituality, but the wider kind of macro of this. Is actually, there has been a lot of idealization, a lot of deception, a lot of fake news, a lot of propaganda on so many levels, and that includes the spiritual world in which we inhabit. So I'm really seeing the energy of now until kind of February as a bit of a spiritual dark night of the soul, but full of confusion, delusion, this requirement to move and have some escapism, to kind of go away from it's all too difficult. You know, we're going into Scorpio season on the 24th. Shadow work is difficult. It's teary, it's messy, and actually you might be, oh, it's just too difficult, I just can't deal with it. You know, I'm just gonna be deluded, and I'm just gonna sit in my castle and just be all smiles and rainbows. Neptune is really saying she's going to strip that away from you as well, because we've also got Saturn retrograding in Pisces as well, and she's saying to you, God, get your boundaries right. What's going on with your boundaries? You know, have you got any responsibilities that you need to take the weight of? What responsibilities are truly yours? But actually, have you got any unfinished business that needs clearing up? So there's this real interplay and conversation with the planets. And when you study goddess astrology, we have something called embodiment, and we actually oracle, we become the planet, and we actually converse between the two planets. So what is Saturn saying to us at the moment? She's really saying of, you know, have a reflection of your personal boundaries, your responsibility. You need to clear up any unfinished business, and if your foundations are not strong enough, I'm going to take them away, because you need to be ready for February. You need to be ready when Saturn and Neptune meet at 0 degrees of the silver wheel, so 0 degrees of Aries. That's going to start on the 15th. It's going to be exact pretty much on the 20th of Feb. This is a brand new start. It's something that we've never experienced before in our lifetimes, and if you look at astrological history, never before been recorded. Saturn and Neptune have met in Aries, but never at the 0 degree point. This is going to be really important. So we've got Saturn saying her thing, and then Lady Neptune kind of wafting into Pisces going, oh, but you know, let me enhance your delusion, let me fog your thinking a little bit more, you know, come back to me, because to be in the dreamlike state is so important, because that's where you're oracular, that's where you feel safe. And she's in Pisces, she's kind of welcoming you back. So really watch for some spiritual bullshit actually coming up from people. This too good to be true. If it's too good to be true, you are under the Neptune illusion and delusion. Lady Neptune is amazing, but she is kind of murkying the water. She's causing a lot of fog at the moment, so just be aware. And it does feel a little bit like we've got this dance, dark night of the soul. There's this dance back and forth between Aries and Pisces with Saturn and Neptunia. We've got Mercury dancing between Sag, brutal truth telling, to Scorpio, digging into the depths of what is our truth. They're doing this dance on the 20th of November. We've got a Mercury Cazimi. Cazimi is just a posh way of saying the Sun and Mercury are conjunct. It happens about 3 times a year. It's just a posh way, but people will be talking about it because it's really highlighting our communication, because at that moment in time Mercury's in retrograde. So just be really mindful what you're saying around that time. But what I'm going to say to you is that this is a real collective energy of rebirth as we go into the lighter months of next year. So if you want to birth and create a new reality, what else needs stripping away? What's that reality going to look like? What's important to you? What are you going to defend till the very end? What hill will you die on, essentially? But you know, how important is your freedom, your sovereignty, your authority? You know, there's been asked to really look at so much about ourselves, and one of the ways that we can do this through Scorpio season and a little bit of Sag, because Sag to me is the kind of fire that cleans up the Scorpio kind of introspective energy, is to really deal with our shadow. And actually it's really dealing with our personal shadow and our collective shadow as well. Do you want to sleepwalk into the shadow of the Aquarian age, which is technocracy, or are you going to march forward knowing exactly what you want to create? Enslavement to devices or freedom, connection, collaboration, community. So there's lots going on, and I just wanted to hop on and just share a few more intuitive thoughts than massive, technical astrology at the moment. So happy new moon for tomorrow. I am going to be busy doing new moon readings, and for those of you who really want to dive into the shadow, the doors to the shadow sessions are going to close on the 22nd, which is Wednesday, and then we start on the 24th. If you don't know what this is, it's a private Telegram group where you are going to have 30 days of transmission from the Dark Goddess. So I will be bringing her through all the tools, the tips, the techniques, the messages that she wants to share to really help you navigate shadow season. And it's going to be powerful. I'm not going to lie, some of the messages are starting to come through, and some of them she's like rubbing her hands in glee going, come on, time to come into the cauldron of transformation, to drink the poisoned waters, to alchemize them and step and rebirth yourself as the sun moves into Sagittarius. So that's 30 days of transmission for the whole of Scorpio season. It's £88. Either in the comments or the text there'll be a link that you can book it to. If you've got any questions, just ask. I've been rambling a long time. It's getting even darker here. So I'm sending you a huge amount of love. You've got this, and it's going to be some really interesting energies. But most of all, enjoy the new moon, set some intentions, and really think about what you want to do over the last couple of months of this calendar year. Take care. Lots of love.